Hello YouTubers. Oh, I forgot to take these off. Welcome to my channel. This is the start of my motorcycle journey. Sold. I'm going to give you a little history and a little story about what's going to happen. Step 1, remove a boatload of concrete in my backyard. What that means is we have a pool out back on my property that I plan to put a shed on, and in that shed is going to be my new bike. Problem is, I got to get rid of that concrete. So, first thing we need is a pair of goggles. Always safety, since I'm going to be hammering and chiseling maybe, and blah, 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 etc., etc. Once I break up the concrete and get rid of it, then I'm going to have to get it inspected by my town. They're going to have to come out. And then they're going to have to issue me a permit for the hole, which is the 8 or 9 foot deep end of my pool. And they want to make sure that I'm not chopping up the concrete and pouring it. Let me fix this camera. And pouring it into the hole as filler. Because what happens is, over time, in theory, that concrete could settle. And if I build anything on top of it, if I decide at some point my shed, is no longer, big enough for me and all the junk that I got to carry, and I want to build a garage, I don't want settlement, because then my shed could be whatever. So anyway, so that's the point of the shed. So I got a wish book right here, and let's see if I can find a picture of what I want. Now, I've ridden most motorcycles up till probably 10 years because I worked at a dealership. I was a parts guy and I was a salesman, but I was also the test ride king. And what that meant is when somebody came in and wanted to ride something that they wanted to buy, my boss and the salesman who was taking care of them, or me, would screen them to make sure that they could ride. For instance, they didn't come in and say, hey, I want to ride the biggest, most fastest thing you have. Oh, what experience do you have? Oh, I just got my license. You're not riding it. But if, they seem reasonable and weren't drunk or weren't having, masculine problems and wanted to, could basically ride a bike and knew how to ride, and we felt that they were capable of doing it, my boss would have me, and I would get something, whatever was out front as a demo, and then that person would ride that bike, and we would go out for a ride together. So we would go out for a ride, and then we would come back, and the salesman would deal with that customer or whatever, and I would go back to doing what I was doing. I rode a lot of bikes, and I've always been Japanese motorcycle rider. Did sport bikes, did a cruiser, took off for a while, had 2 kids, bought a house, and now I'm going to get back into it. So what I'm going to get looks just like that. That is a Electra Standard. And basically what it is a full touring dresser that has a lot of stuff removed, and basically I can build it up as I want. So that's the story. I'm going to go to Home Depot, or I'm sorry, probably Lowe's tonight, buy a sledge, and start working on this project. So thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel and stay with me, because I got a lot of work to do. The end of my journey, or what I'm going to say will get me back to full speed and riding again, is I plan on going to Florida, not this summer, but next summer, and I'm going to ride my bike there. So stay tuned in the channel, like, subscribe, have a good week.